How to make the narcissist miss you. You miss the narcissist. You miss the person that first came along and showered you with all of that golden love. You miss the witticisms, the kindness, the thrills, the excitement, the person who was interested in things that you were interested in, the person that seemed to cherish every moment with you, the person that held you up and showed you off to the world. You miss that person, and many times you've wished that they would return. You've missed the narcissist when they've walked away from you. You've missed the narcissist when they have gone off with somebody else. You've missed the cheeky glint in the eye, the smile, the hug, the kiss, the parties, the holidays. You've missed them. And then you've realised all of that was a manipulation. The good, the bad, they were all manipulations so that we achieve the prime aims. You may now find yourself thinking, how do I make the narcissist miss me? And there are essentially two premises on which this is based. The first is, you want them to miss you so that they return to you to make everything feel good again, to ease the aching pain that you're experiencing. Or you want the narcissist to miss you to give the narcissist a taste of their own medicine, to let them know how it feels to miss somebody, to let them know what it is to have that gap, that chasm, that uncertainty. Let them feel the pain of missing somebody. Let them miss out. So one reason is based upon the resurrection of that golden sensation, and the other is to seek revenge. First of all, it is important to understand that either of those views are driven by emotional thinking. Logic would ask this: why on earth do you want to make somebody who has abused you miss you? Why on earth do you want to try and get them to come back to you? Why on earth do you want to continue to invest your time, energy, and effort in trying to torment somebody for the purposes of revenge? If you are finding yourself wanting to make the narcissist miss you, this is emotional thinking. It is not logical. You may think that it is logical. You may think that it makes sense that you can do something to somehow get the narcissist to come back and everything will be all right again, or that it's sensible to get revenge over the narcissist, but it isn't. You see, if you take steps to try and make the narcissist miss you, and I will address the point as to whether you can actually achieve this in a moment, your endeavours are going to result in you providing us with fuel. This means that we win, and because this is a zero-sum game, you end up losing. Do not think to yourself, well, it's okay, I want to give the narcissist fuel, so I don't mind doing it. You are giving your abuser an advantage. And the more fuel that you provide us, the more likely it is that we will keep coming back for more, like a shark scenting blood. The other aspect is that you're continuing to interact with somebody who is going to cause an adverse consequence for you. We will continue to abuse you because that is what we do. We will upset you, we will hurt you, we will cause you pain, physical, emotional, psychological, financial, sexual. You'll become frustrated because your stated aim is not achieved. You become hurt at what we do to you. You become frustrated and angry. You will suffer an adverse consequence, and therefore ask yourself, why should I open myself up to it? Oh, of course, your narcissistic trait of pride may well be throbbing away, saying, I won't get hurt this time, I know what I'm dealing with. But you, in all likelihood, are an empath, which means that you can't put it aside in the cold, compartmentalizing way that we do. For all of your attempts to say, no, this time I'm going to be that steely-eyed dealer of death, you can't actually achieve it. And moreover, you ought not to try. Thirdly, understandably, by interacting with us, by thinking about how you might achieve this, by talking to other people about doing so, by taking steps to put it in place, by communicating with us in order to try and bring about us missing you, you are entering into those arenas of interaction, which means that you're going to increase your emotional thinking. When you increase your emotional thinking and you're feeding the addiction cries out, "Feed me, feed me," and it wants more. And it will pump out that emotional thinking to increase your flawed logic, and then you will end up stuck on the narcissist wheel of misery. Your emotional thinking will be high, which means you will not listen to logic, which means that you will continue to try and interact with the narcissist in some form, which means you will increase your emotional thinking, which means you will not listen to logic, which means that you will continue to interact with the narcissist. And round you'll go, giving us fuel, suffering adverse consequences, keeping your emotional thinking high and increasing it. You will not be able to control it, and thus your attempt at recovery will fail. Accordingly, the attempt to make us miss you is misguided because of the reasons of the provision of fuel, the suffering of you in terms of adverse consequences, and the heightening and maintenance of high emotional thinking. So with all that stated, what about making the narcissist miss you? Well, we don't actually miss you. We miss the prime aims. We miss controlling you. We miss the fuel. We miss the character traits, and we miss the residual benefits. But of course, the vast majority of narcissists are less from mid-range and don't realize that that is what they want. They think that they might miss you, but it is only the narcissism allowing them to think that way for the purposes of hoovering you. Understand, the narcissist will not sit at home thinking, "Oh dear, goodness me, I let such a good person go. Oh, how I miss them. Oh, woe is me." Because narcissists don't do regret. Narcissists don't self-reflect in that manner. When you escape the narcissist will miss your fuel. Absolutely the case. The narcissist will miss your character traits, although he or she will be able to cling on to some, because you don't always have to be with us for us to use them. And the narcissist will miss the residual benefits that you provide. And therefore, if you escape us, the narcissist will take steps by way of the initial grand hoover, especially where you're the intimate partner primary source, to fill that hole. But it's not because the narcissist misses you for who you are, doesn't miss your twinkly smile, your kindness. It's the fuel, the character traits, and the residual benefits that are missed. And the narcissist will hoover and hoover hard, as set out in my book No Contact, to try and draw you back in. And if the narcissist succeeds, then you're drawn back in, you're given a respite period, and then you'll be back on the merry-go-round and you will be abused and devalued again. If you resist, the narcissist will, of course, bleat, particularly if mid-range, "Oh, I miss you. I made such a mistake. I shouldn't have done what I did. I can't bear being without you." Understand, this is all bullshit. The narcissist believes it, where less raw mid-range, because the narcissist makes them believe it, in order so they act on it, immediately and instantaneously. But it's not genuine. The narcissist doesn't actually miss you and never has. They've just missed the prime aims, but they don't know it. The narcissist will say, "Each day was empty without you." It wasn't. He was off chasing somebody else. He was fucking your sister, running around with a neighbour. He was hanging out with his mates. Because the narcissism drives him to do that. He didn't sit around staring into the bottom of a whiskey bottle, thinking, "Oh dear, my life is an abject misery." He wasn't. He will give you the impression that that is what has happened, because that's called a pity play. He will give you the impression that his life was empty, bereft, and meaningless without you. But he wasn't sat there actually thinking that. He just tells you that because he's driven by it, driven by his narcissism to say that to you as part of the hoovering to draw you back in. "Oh, he missed me. Oh, he was so miserable without me." And part of you will be thinking, "Good, you deserve it, you piece of shit." And part of you will be secretly pleased because it makes you feel good that the narcissist missed you. Except he didn't. He's just making out that he did. He believes that he did. Of course, the greater or the ultra may well say, "Yes, I missed you," but we know that we didn't. And we know that we're just saying that to make you feel special and manipulate you. The fact is, the narcissist doesn't miss you. Not only does the narcissist not miss you for who you are, instead we miss the prime aims, but after we've tried to get you back, and if you resist us doing that, we move on. We assert control by no longer trying to control you, and we turn to the other elements within our fuel matrix, the supplementary sources, i.e. the secondary and tertiary sources. We draw fuel from them, the character traits come from them, the residual benefits. Of course, most narcissists will need to seek out a primary source pretty quickly. There may have been somebody waiting in the wings and they're suddenly promoted, or someone is hunted down afresh, or a former IPPS is brought back from the cold, following your escape. But the narcissist doesn't miss you. If the narcissist disengaged from you and you didn't escape, the narcissist doesn't miss you at all. The narcissist wanted rid of you. You failed the narcissist. You became a malfunctioning appliance and you were no good, and thus we jettisoned you. We were too focused on the new person, where the reason for your removal was because we had a new IPPS to promote. Or, if it was for an alternative disengagement trigger, we still didn't miss you, and we became focused on finding a replacement who is far, far better than you ever were. Of course, that person will invariably enter devaluation, which means that you as the former intimate partner primary source may then well be hoovered. And of course, we will come out with such tripe as, "Oh, I've missed you. I didn't realise what a mistake I had made by choosing them over you, and I now realise that was a mistake. I missed our times together. I missed our walk in the woods. I miss going to the cinema with you and watching those old films. I miss the afternoons where we would cuddle up on the sofa and binge on Line of Duty as the rain poured down." The narcissist didn't miss any of that. The narcissism just dictates that has to be said to you to draw you back in, to bring you under control, to get those prime aims once again. The fact remains that, first of all, the narcissist doesn't miss you. 2, you should not attempt to cause the narcissist to miss you, and the actions that you take are not going to make the narcissist miss you. It might cause the narcissist to miss the prime aims, but you are not going to do anything sensible for your own progress and recovery by trying to make the narcissist miss you, by leaving and then saying, "Look at what you could have won." The narcissist is focused on the prime aims, not who you are, and in due course, even if the narcissist did come back, you'll be devalued again. So why on earth did you want to attract that abuser back to you? The answer? You were driven by either a lack of understanding or the presence of your emotional thinking causing you not to realise what you were actually doing was incorrect and wrong. Do not make the narcissist miss you. We don't. You can't make it happen, and you will suffer a consequence. This has been a Tudor treatment. I am H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.